What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can see, I've got my face cam on for the first time. Don't worry, it won't be on throughout the whole video, but I may pop up here and there as we go along. But yeah, if you haven't seen my face before, this is what it looks like, I guess. Feel free to roast me down below. With that all being said, sit back, relax, and let's get into our first story. Entitled Mum gets in my ride and accuses me of giving her coronavirus. This was my craziest Karen encounter ever. So, a bit of backstory. I live in the Philippines and we have this vehicle called the tricycle, or motorized tricycle. Tricycles are a very common form of transportation here and they have their own system in transportation. This will be important for later. So it was a Saturday and I have to go to a group practice. So I go to check if there are tricycles outside, and there were. I signal for a tricycle driver and he drove to me. That's when I notice a foreigner about 10 feet away from me. Classic Karen, hairstyle and everything. She had with her, I think, a 10-ish-year-old entitled kid. She sees me and immediately she started walking towards me with her entitled kid walking behind her, watching, I assume, TikTok videos. I knew from reading the stories here what was about to happen, so I prepared myself. Excuse me, young man? Yes? I'm sorry, but we were here first. Now, the system of riding a tricycle is simple. If you signal for the driver first, then they go to you first, even if you were there waiting for about an hour. If they didn't notice you, they won't go to you unless you signal for them. The entitled mum said she had been standing there for 10 minutes, and she was first, so she gets to ride first. I tell her the system. I tell her this while speaking in English, of course, but in a way that you would conclude that the person speaking isn't too good in English. I don't care about the system here. First come, first served. Sorry, but that's how it is here. The entitled mum surprisingly accepts this and gives a big huff and stomps back to where she was standing. I thought it was all over when the entitled kid started whining. Mom, my legs hurt and it's real hot. I want to go to the mall now. It's good to note that the entitled kid was wearing a tutu, a thick pink dress, a pink jacket that has those fluffy collars and boots that go up to her knees. No wonder she was hot. Who would wear such thick clothing in a tropical country? Now look what you've done. You made my daughter sweat. Well, she shouldn't have worn so much clothing. We have a hot climate, you know. The entitled mum still blames it on me, but I just don't care anymore because it's been about 3 minutes and I was going to be late for my practice. So I try to get in the tricycle, but the entitled mum blocks my path and she herself gets in. The tricycle driver didn't like this. Now, he was silently waiting the entire time. He spoke in Filipino and the entitled mum didn't understand anything. Now, for this section of text, I'm just going to read the English out. Mum, this young man signaled first, so he will be the one to ride. Please get out. What are you saying? Speak in English? I can't understand you. So I said to the driver, sir, she said to speak in English. But then he said to me, that's too bad. I'm not fluent in English. The entitled mum was standing there, not understanding a thing. Hey, what are you two talking about? I can't understand either of you. He said he isn't too good in English. Well, of course, he's a lazy bummed idiot that probably didn't even finish school. I said to the tricycle driver, sir, I think you'll be offended if I translated that back. He said to me, alright, I'll just drop her off on the barangay over there. Wait for me here. I nod my head and he drove off to the barangay nearby, whilst the entitled mum looked at me and gave me the smuggest smirk ever. I knew what the driver was going to do, so I wait for him patiently. Around 4 minutes or so, he came back and told me to hop in and drove off. While in the ride, he told me what happened. So basically, the entitled mum asked the driver where they were, in which he replied, Sa barangay, and of course, the mum didn't understand. He talked to one of the tanods, like a sheriff or something, about what happened, and they escorted the entitled mum and entitled kid out of the vehicle. One of the tanods said that the driver didn't have to stay and they'll handle it. So, fast forward to me going home from practice. I was once again using a tricycle for transportation, but didn't have any complications on this ride. I did have problems at the drop-off though. I saw the entitled mum standing in front of our gate. It's not really ours because we live in a compound, and she saw me. She then runs towards me like a mad bull, and I was there standing still as stone thinking, how does she know where I lived? Turns out, after getting fined by the Tanos for something, I don't really know the laws around here because I'm only 14, she asked one of the guys chilling there if they know where I lived. Unfortunately for me, they knew me and they understand English, so they pointed at our gate. She stood there for probably hours waiting for me, yeah, all through your practice. Hey you, why you little idiot, I got fined because of you. Me? You were the one at fault here. It's now a good time to say that I can sometimes sneeze out of nowhere. I don't really know if it's because of allergies, I don't really have any, I don't really get sick easily. So it wasn't that, maybe it was just my nose being irritated. So I felt I needed to sneeze, so I looked to my left and sneeze. The entitled mum, however, stopped berating me with curse words and looked horrifyingly disgusted. Oh my god, he has the coronavirus and he just sneezed on me. He infected me with it. You Asians should just die because you brought the virus to our country and now we're gonna die. Everyone who heard her screams looked confused as to why she was screaming. Lady, I can assure you I have a pretty much working immune system and no coronavirus. And what do you mean we Asians need to die? Who are you, reincarnated female Hitler with health issues? I mean, that might be the craziest sentence I've ever read. What? Help! He is assaulting me! Call the police! Now, someone already called two of the Tanods before she said this. Now, they spoke in Tagalog, but I'm just going to translate what they said in English. Thank you, sir. What's going on here? Help! He harassed and assaulted me. Look him up now. He also gave me the coronavirus, and now I'm going to die. The first Tanod already looks annoyed at her. The second, who was a bit behind, said, what happened? The both of them saw me and recognized me because both of my grandfathers, my mum's dad and my dad's dad, are also Tanods, and they may have seen me with them or my grandfathers might have talked about me to them. I'll call my grandfathers Manny and Don. Hey, you're Don's grandson, right? The other Tanod said, what do you mean? He's Manny's grandson. I'm actually both. Oh. I mean, I'm not sure about that. It seems a little bit coincidental for them both to say, oh, but you never know. The entitled mum butts in. Hello, I'm the one that called you here because this SOB assaulted me and gave me the coronavirus. We heard you the first time, lady. The entitled mum went quiet for about 15 seconds. The second Tanod said to the people chilling there, okay, so does anybody know what happened here? One guy stands up from the crowd and hands the Tanod their phone. It was someone who knew me and turns out they recorded the whole thing. The entitled mum wanted to say something, but the Tanod immediately shut her down. They looked at the footage and knew who was at fault. The entitled mum then tried to escape, but one of the guys held her from running away and two blocked her path. The Tanogs then escorted her to the barangay while she was shouting curse words and names at me whilst giving me death stares. And I was there standing and asking myself, where the heck was her entitled kid? It turns out her dad picked her up from the barangay but left the entitled mum. Of course. This happened 2 days ago and I'm still wondering what my parents would say if they found out. Yes, I didn't tell them. But I know they're gonna find out someday because again, both my grandfathers were Tanods and the first Tanod and the second Tanod that were there might tell them what happened. Oh well, that's it for my entitled mum encounter. She was one of the craziest I've encountered. Thanks for reading. Well, yeah, that was certainly a very entertaining story, that's for sure. I just love that the dad went to pick up both of them and only came back with the kid and left the entitled mum there. That's so good. I think it's time for him to go one step further and just divorce her. What do you guys think? Yeah, she's quite entitled, but she's also quite clearly horribly racist. I mean, she went to Asia, told you guys to speak English, and then said, wow, you gave me the coronavirus. What is with that? At least you survived to tell the tale. So with that being said, let's get into our second story. Entitled mum tries to steal 20 packs of 16 rolls of toilet paper. A little context, there have been brawls over toilet paper in shopping centres all across my country, and a man got tased this morning by the police during one aforementioned brawl. Wow, what country are you living in? So, me and Dave, a friend of mine, are out at the shopping centre looking for a present for his mother because it's her birthday soon. We walk past Woolies and hear some sort of commotion. What the heck is going on in there? It's only 10 AM. I don't know, probably someone's kid chucking a hissy fit over lollies. Keep in mind, we couldn't actually hear what was being said yet. We decided to go and have a look inside as we were naturally curious. We find where the argument is happening down the other end of the shop and holy heck, there is this middle-aged woman with a trolley stacked full of toilet paper, like almost tipping over sort of full. Dave and I turned to each other in disbelief, obviously having the same thoughts. Behind the leaning tower of toilet paper, we see an entitled mum arguing with a staff member with her little boy by her side with a worried look on his face. Mom, I'm sorry, but you can't take this much toilet paper. It isn't fair on everyone else. Has the government put a cap on it yet? Well, no, but the entitled mum interrupts him mid-sentence. Exactly, I should be able to have as much as I want. My baby is worried sick about the coronavirus. He doesn't want to die. You're only gonna die if you're a newborn baby, very elderly or have pre-existing health complications. This kid looked about 7 years old. Yeah, can I just say that is absolutely true. I'm pretty sure the coronavirus is just like a normal flu, we just don't have the cure yet, which is why it's a little bit worrying. If you're not a really young child or a really elderly person or have pre-existing health conditions, you're gonna be absolutely fine even if you catch it. Miss, I understand that you are concerned, but we've been told not to let anyone take more than 5 packs. Oh, fine, I'll put some back. Come on, kid. She begins pushing the trolley towards the aisle where the toilet paper should be, struggling to get it to move. Yeah, I'm not surprised. The member of staff turns and walks away to continue whatever he was doing beforehand. As Dave and I walk to the exit and are about to leave, we see the entitled mum and kid just trying to stroll out of the store with the Burj Khalifa on wheels. Like nothing is out of the ordinary. Unfortunately for her, and unsurprisingly, the alarm goes off as she tries to walk through. Realizing this, she tries, emphasis on tries, to run with the trolley with the kid at her side. Almost in tears from the loud noise, but as you'd imagine, running with a trolley that weighs more than a small car, exaggeration, duh, is not easy. Seeing this, the staff member that encountered her before chased after her and caught up almost immediately and yanked the entitled mum's hands off of the trolley. How dare you touch me? I'll call the police for assault. The staff member, showing absolutely no emotion whatsoever, said, and I'll call the police if you take this trolley any further. Dave and I found one of those public benches right next to the altercation and watched. In the end, the entitled mum and her kid were escorted out by security, and they didn't get their toilet paper. Can someone just explain to me in the comments why you would possibly need a whole trolley full of toilet paper even if the coronavirus is a thing? I don't really get that. I also just love the image of Karen trying to push her trolley out of the store and it being too heavy and just weighing her down. I guess it does make a little bit of sense though. I mean, think about it. What are you gonna need first in a coronavirus apocalyptic world? Maybe some food? Maybe some water? No. Toilet paper. Makes a lot of sense. Anyway guys, that is gonna do it for this video. Hang on a sec. I've realized I've got to move over here so I can get the end screen up. Does that work? There should be a video there and a video there. I hope that works. Let me know if it does. But yeah guys, that is gonna do it for this video. If you want another one, they're there and there. Click another one and also subscribe. I hope I can fit something in up there. Subscribe. Nice one. See you in a bit.